Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Could TFC make it to the CONCACAF Champions League final? If they wanted to, they'd have to get a result against Club America, more so ensure that they don't score. TFC won the first leg at BMO Field 3-1, but gave up an away goal, and all Club America had to do was score 2 goals and not concede, and they would go on to the CONCACAF Champions League finals. Much easier said than done. Would they be able to do it? How would they do it? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to briefly break down Club America against TFC. Club America, Toronto FC, second leg of the semi-final of CONCACAF Champions League. Would Club America be able to turn the tie around considering they got the away goal at BMO Field? Would TFC be able to cope in this environment? They did it against Tigres. Would lightning strike twice again? They have been counted out on numerous occasions. This was a great opportunity to prove that they belong in this elite class of CONCACAF sides. When we look at the board, we got TFC in the red, we got Club America in the blue. TFC in a 3-5-2 with Jovinko and Altidore up front, Delgado and Osorio ahead of Bradley, and as wingbacks they had Morgan and they had Oro. For Club America, more of a 4-4-2. Up front, they had Martin and they had Peralta. On the flanks, Ibarra and Abarguen. And in midfield, it was Rodriguez and Uribe. What went right? What went wrong? Well, for TFC, the fact that Jozy Altidore was unable to play past 10-minute mark was a big worry for them. They didn't know how they would approach the game without him. He was apparently carrying a knock. But when you think about Altidore's past in these big games, he scores big goals. Altidore was replaced. Ricketts went up front. So instead of getting that power and that strength up front, Ricketts is able to run the lines and play into the spaces, and that obviously would be key given the fact that these fullbacks played a bit higher and there was always space in those channels. However, Ricketts' impact was somewhat limited, but he was a part of the build-up to TFC's vital away goal. TFC did score in the opening 15 minutes. How did that go down? Well, we got to see the brilliance of Jovinko. One of the things about this TFC side, who were missing Victor Vasquez and Altidore going out, their big players step up when it matters, and once again that happened. You look at the play, it's basically they were somewhat in a transitional period or transitional spell, and what happens is that Jovinko simply drops off to get the ball from Delgado. TFC looking to break forward, he picks up the ball, he locates the run of Ricketts, clips this ball over him. You have William De Silva running with him, Osorio breaking into the box, and William De Silva's persistence sees him poke the ball into the path of Osorio, who's able to tap the ball into an open net. Sure, it may seem like it was something so simple and so easy to create, but it's Jovinko's brilliance to drop deep, to pick up the ball, to be that creative player that he has been when he's not scoring the goals in these big games, to create that opportunity for Ricketts to break free on goal, which he almost did squander, but Osorio was there at the right position as well, and it put TFC in this position where Club America now had to score 3 goals. They had to score 3 goals to bring it into, well, not bring it to extra time, to bring it to penalty shots and then score another goal if they want to go through. And that was pivotal because now it forced the incentive on Club America to push forward. Not that we expected TFC to really go for it, but we knew at some point they would have to, Club America would have to come forward, and TFC would be able to find spaces in between those lines, in those channels, to exploit with Jovinko's pace. However, the game wasn't as complex as many would have expected. TFC dropped deeper throughout the game, ensured that they kept it tight in the box. It was very narrow in these spaces. They ensured that nothing could go through the middle of the pitch, nothing could come through here, and it was very key because Club America doesn't really have that nifty player that would be able to pull off what Jovinko did, that like to float between the lines, that like to get into these spaces and pick up the ball and play that final pass that they often have to go up against in MLS. So if they could block off the spaces here, nothing could come into the forwards, who did like to play with their back to goal and try and bring players into play. What happens is that Rodriguez would sit, or Uribe would try to find space in those spaces as well to pick up the ball and go towards goal. But TFC, when at the start of the game, they're able to play a high line because no one was able to break forward or willing to break forward. And as they dropped deeper, they weren't really worried about being threatened in those central areas. It was out wide where Club America really tried to get the best out of TFC. But it didn't really matter because their wide players or their shuttlers in midfield were superb in breaking up play and ensuring that they were disciplined. And this is why they're so vital to the team, their work rate. So if the ball would go out to Ibarra, you'd see the fullback come over, and then you'd see Osorio out there. You'd see Delgado shift over there. And even at times when he did it, Ricketts would sometimes come back and ensure that he dropped into those spaces to get onto the ball. And I think that was so pivotal to what TFC were trying to do. It was organized, it was disciplined. It feels like they're experienced at playing in these environments because they've been there and done that over the past few seasons. And really, Club America were solely trying to get those 1v1s out wide and hoping that something could come of it, because we saw even with their opening goal at BMO Field, it was individual brilliance from Ibargüen to drift past a few players to score that great goal. But besides that, here, shots from distance that went at Bono, there was a spell where they did get opportunities to go at them in wide areas. You think about Ibargüen running at Oro, beating him on the flank and delivering the cross into Martin. A diving header forced Bono into a save. We look at the one time where Osorio was caught out, ball watching, and the overlapping run from Aguilar led to a cross into the box. That forced Bono into another save. And then we think about the one time where Ibarra was able to drift out wide, run at his marker, deliver a cross into the box that that Valdez nodded on goal, but Bono pushed it away as well. So they were finding spaces in those wide areas, but it wasn't enough. It came in spells, and there was that 1 5-minute stretch where TFC looked danger, but Bono stood tall, and he was arguably the man of the match. TFC's problem, though, was that as they sat deeper, as they pushed men forward, they tired, and they were unable to really pick out Giovinco in these spaces here that he likes to drift out to. So their counter-attacking threat wasn't as good as we saw against Tigres. Giovinco obviously could have dropped into deeper spaces to get the ball to feet, hold up play, and force the Club America players to foul him. We didn't see enough of that. He was often trying to just run into the spaces, and that wasn't helping TFC in that respect. But TFC coped well, went into halftime 0-0, and then we saw the tactical changes being made. We saw Club America move to a 3-5-2. They made 2 personnel changes. They brought on Lainez, who played here. They brought on Diaz, who played up front with Peralta. And what they basically did was that they pushed the wingbacks higher in Ibarra and Ibargüen to push TFC back. Van der Wiel was forced to leave the game, and that saw Hasler come on, and TFC became more of a deep 4-4-2 throughout the game. We saw Osorio move to the left. We saw Delgado move into midfield. We saw Hasler move out to the right. And it was somewhat of the same thing here. At times we saw Bradley drop into these positions to ensure that it was a back 5, but it was a narrow midfield bank of 4. The wingbacks pushed at the fullbacks, and it was basically, how are you going to break us down? What are you going to do that's different? They did get something different from Lainez, who was able to drift onto these spaces, offer direct running, dribbling, and as TFC players tired, he was able to find spaces to run past his markers. He did fire a shot from deep that forced Bono into a save. There was an opportunity where he did drive down the line and pull the ball back for Peralta, but he wasn't expecting it in the box, and he guided his shot wide. But apart from that, TFC were fine in this shape. Lainez obviously trying to offer some penetration from deep, offer some speed and mobility. He did have a bit of an effect. The wide players never really got going, and obviously there was protection here for the fullbacks, and Club America just weren't good enough on the night, not getting players in behind. It was too basic for them in terms of breaking down TFC. No real movement off the ball. It was wing play to the maximum, and TFC were organizing those positions and very disciplined, and if they try to go to the middle and play those outlet passes into the strikers, they bogged up the center of the pitch well. And although there wasn't much of a counter-attacking threat from Giovinco, who tired as the second half went on, albeit that they did take off Ricketts and they brought on Jordan Hamilton, who did create a chance for Hasler that he skied over the net. TFC didn't really create much, but were never really troubled. They did concede a penalty towards the end of the game. That was converted, but at 1-1, that ensured that TFC are going to the CONCACAF Champions League final to place Guadalajara. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.